Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with ATBBQ.com, and this is prime rib with horseradish whipped cream. Tis the season to splurge, so today we're making prime rib, a beautiful prime rib from Creekstone Farms, and we're going to be complementing that with a whipped cream. I know that sounds weird, but it's a savory whipped cream, mostly featuring horseradish and mustard, and it's a really great combination. So what we have here is about a 7-pound boneless prime rib roast from Creekstone Farms. This is prime beef. You can see the beautiful marbling in it, so you know it's gonna be good. There hasn't been much trimming done to it. Now you can buy these from Creekstone and they'll come trimmed and you don't have to do a lot to it. Today we're gonna take a little bit of this extra off because I got a really big one from them. We've been cooking these for classes. So essentially what you have here is a ribeye steak with a little bit of this chain left on the side. And that chain is really good eating. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off some of this excess fat, but try to leave on that meat that's underneath it. From one end of the roast to the other, this chain changes in size. So you can see right here, you just got a little bit. Right here, you got a lot more. And like I said, it's good eating, so we're not gonna cut it off. Now, anatomy of a prime rib, you're gonna have a fat cap on the top side. The bottom side is where the ribs sit, which is what these divots are right here. Now, there's no reason to take off all of the fat off the top unless you're concerned about the silver skin that's underneath. So this is another one of those compromise situations where you got to decide what's more important. Do you want some fat dripping around the prime rib as it cooks, or do you want to get rid of the silver skin? And for me, knowing that we're going to slice these into thin pieces, it's not enough silver skin to worry about, so I'm going to leave the fat on. Now onto the seasoning process. The first thing we're going to do is put down a little bit of our W sauce, some Worcestershire to help that grab onto the beef. The seasoning itself is really simple. It's our Cattleman's Grill trail dust. It's a very savory seasoning. So, you know, you're gonna get salt, pepper, garlic. You're gonna get some mustard, some dill. There's some herbs in there, but it's a very straightforward, like kind of all around seasoning. Do the same thing to the other side. Get the sides this time. Really nothing fancy going on here. We are gonna let the flavor of this beef shine with just a little assistance from the Worcestershire and the seasoning. Today we're gonna be roasting our prime rib, and that means at temperatures between 300 and 400 degrees. So right in the middle, 350 degrees on the Yoder Smokers pellet grill. I'm gonna throw a probe into the middle of the deepest part of the prime rib so we can keep track of this temperature. Now for our whipped cream. So we're taking 1 cup of heavy cream, and instead of doing this in a stand mixer or by hand, we're just gonna use the immersion blender today to kind of aerate this cream and thicken it up. So we've kind of reached that point now where you can see it's creamy, it's thickened up, but it's not getting chunky yet, and that's right where we want it. So now that the cream's whipped, we're gonna add the rest of our flavoring ingredients. Got a 1/2 cup of sour cream that's gonna kind of help hold this together so it doesn't melt apart. Got a couple tablespoons of prepared horseradish and a couple tablespoons of our Kozlik's Dijon mustard. And we're gonna finish that off with about a teaspoon of W sauce, that same stuff that we put on the roast itself, and about a teaspoon of the Jacobsen's black pepper salt. So we're just gonna gently fold this together. We don't wanna ruin all that aeration, all that creaminess from the whipped cream. We just wanna make sure everything gets mixed evenly. Letting this sit for just a minute until that salt dissolves to make sure we understand the flavors as we taste them. But just as a general advisory, this is best served fresh. It'll last about a day in the fridge. But at some point it's gonna start to separate. So I would make it right before you serve it. Needs a touch more salt, but I'm picking up on the horseradish and the mustard for sure, and it's just super creamy. Our prime rib's been on for about 3 hours now. It's temping anywhere from 120 to 125. on the deepest part of the meat there. You can see how roasting this rather than just smoking it has created a really nice bark on the outside, which is why I like to cook it at that temperature on this smoker, because you get both the smoke and the texture. We've given this roast about 20 minutes to just kind of chill out, to rest. And what's happened in that time is all those juices that get sucked into the middle during the cook redistribute so that the slices on the end are as juicy as the slices in the middle. Great thing about cooking a big roast like this is there's gonna be folks that want pieces that are more well done than medium rare, and you're gonna find those at the ends because it's cooking from the side as well. But right in the middle, you kind of get your perfect pink. So let's put this down on the plate now. Get a slice of that prime rib. And let's not forget, there are juices left behind from the resting process that have tons of flavor. All right, this is my sweet spot, this corner right here, the most tender little bit of that ribeye rib roast. Let's get a taste. Rich. Over the top decadent. That whipped cream adds a whole nother level to the prime rib. What I love though is now I'm noticing the smoke flavor that's coming out of the meat itself. And that's even cooking at 350. I mean, it's not a low temperature. It was 3 hours. So you do get a lot of that flavor. The inside's super tender. But the outside's got a great crust because we cooked it at that higher temperature so it could actually form a bark. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out ATBBQ.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoyed the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.